Stache, that's you. Come on, man. Earn your keep.
From the greatest minds from around the world, this is Nerds That Know. Stache here, along with my wonderful cohort of nerds. How are you, one and all?
Good.
You know what? At least this week we're not being called pedophiles, but that intro was weak. You know what? Smurf, you're going to have to take back the mantle because Stache's intros are getting worse and worse.
Every week. I was distracted because I was trying to figure out what that noise was, and I thought you were referring to that noise coming from me, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, that's clearly Smurf. No. Fine. Blame me.
No.
All right, guys.
All right.
Here to say it. I started watching Invincible. Big fan.
Yeah.
All right. So
You just
we're just jumping right in then. Bobby's here, so is Tank and Fox.
I gave you guys and you all just looked at me with your dick in your hands. So I was like, fine, we're just going.
I don't have my dick in my hands. I have my tits in my hands.
Close
My
enough.
dick is over in the drawer and I'm too lazy to go get it.
Mine's all the way down in the dungeon, and like,
See, now that just sounds dirty. It's down.
down in the dungeon. It was bad. We sent it home without any supper.
no.
The dungeon.
It's in the dungeon.
You can ask Fox. The dungeon is a happy place.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean it sounds dirty? It's supposed to be dirty. It's a dungeon.
The dungeon is a happy place. Okay, so speaking of dirty, back to Invincible.
I gotta say, like, I am completely caught up. I benched it all in like a night and a half.
Alright.
But
And like I told you, you gotta get through
hey
that
Lee,
first
thanks for joining.
oh my god, the first episode, I was like, this is so fucking boring. I'm so bored.
And then the last 5 minutes happened.
Yeah,
It wasn't even 5 minutes. It was like a minute or two.
you gotta get through that first episode, but you gotta go all the way through.
Yeah.
You have to see it. So once
you
you do, you're in. You're not getting out of this ride, and I can't wait. So good.
Oh my god, I did not expect that at all. I was just like, this is the most boring thing ever. I'm going to watch this episode and then I'm going to stop. And then that happened, and I was like,
We
I
told
want this
you.
now.
We all told
But I
you.
didn't believe you because you guys are always wrong.
Based on what?
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about? We've
I'm
been
sorry,
more
how
right
much
than you
Stache
have.
cash does Smurf have?
All of my previous experience has shown you guys just perpetually wrong.
I'm
You're
sorry.
perpetually fake.
Okay. Don't you sigh at me.
The
Give
fact
me
of the
back
matter
of
is,
the hand.
oh my god, you cracked me up with that shit. So, you're not the first person that I've heard that from. In fact, everybody that I have recommended to, and I've given them the exact same advice that I've given you, you've got to watch it all the way through. You've got to watch the first episode all the way through. You can't just do it.
And this is why Amazon released the first 3 episodes at one time.
And I think it made perfect sense for them to do it that way.
Because if they had released just the first episode, I don't know if they would have the following that it has now.
I think they would.
They just would have been slower.
Been slower because people would have been fiending after watching that first episode.
Yeah. I think there would have been like a small nerd riot.
Yeah, see, I personally would have liked a little break after that. Just to,
No, I wanted to dive right in.
Humanity. But like, there were already episodes when I started watching, so
Well,
Yeah, you're kind of.
that's because you came late to the party.
that's true.
And that's why they did 3 at once, so people wouldn't just wait and wait and wait, I think.
Yeah,
It was so. But see, you don't want anyone spoiling what happens next, so they have to put out the next episode like almost on top of the other because people would spoil it.
Oh yeah.
So, because I mean, it really followed the comic very closely. There were like only a couple things that I noticed that were missing from the animated version versus the comic book. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. So I mean, what you're seeing is really what happened in the pages, and it was like that. It was just like the boring, typical, like, you know, origin story, and you're like, God, this sucks. I'm bored. Kirkman, you suck.
Yeah.
And then it was,
man.
holy shit.
On everybody.
Omni-Man unhinges and just goes. I think, you know what, it's not so much that Omni-Man goes nuts, all right? I don't think it's as impactful in the comic as it is the animated because you've got J.K. Smith just, with that voice is absolutely perfect for Omni-Man. I am so in love with his Omni-Man, and I'm excited to see like the upcoming episodes because they know me, and just to hear his face doing it. I mean, you got like Mark Hamill in there, you got Stephen Yen, you got
a great cast.
They've got
A-list voice actors, man. Hey. This is like one of the most well cast animated features I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. Like every episode, Ezra Miller was in this week's episode as the villain, and he really like delivered on that one. It was.
And how much do you like the
Zachary Quinto, the robot? Yeah, I don't know if you guys didn't get any of that.
Oh,
What?
stupid internet. The Principal Winslow was Winslow from Family Matters.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm really happy with this.
And they're sticking with the story because the way that they bring characters
Bring out
and then bring them back in and then kill things and crush everything constantly.
The sheer level of like us getting beat. I mean, the heroes getting their asses beat. It's really satisfying to see that. Oh, that.
And Martin Titan, his destruction run was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
More than just beat, they get handed to them. I mean, like wholeheartedly handed to them. It's the last fight that Invincible was in, not this week's, but last week's.
Yeah.
Holy balls!
Yeah.
I was just like, you almost don't even want to watch.
And it didn't stop either when you.
It didn't.
It kept fucking going, and I'm like, oh my god.
I'm so glad this isn't a live action. I'm so glad this isn't live action.
Brian Kirkman is a fucking madman.
Yes, he is. He's out there.
Definitely would have been an NC-17 film.
Oh,
you know, it's pretty damn close as animated.
I think it's just really. I think it really does justice to the comic books because I even have other people approaching me. They're like, "It's a great, but the art sucks." And it's just, to be fair, the art is kind of relatively based on the comic. This is really close to what we saw in the book. So I understand what they're saying. Yes, it could be better, but for the sake of the book and the story, I'm fine with where it's falling in as far as the look.
When did these books come out?
Invincible came out in the early aughts because it was right around Walking Dead time.
After Walking Dead.
I was number 3, wasn't it? Like,
no, they were deeper than that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the early
it
on.
was right before they had greenlit the Walking Dead show.
Yeah.
Is when it came out. So
Okay.
a couple of years before the show actually premiered, so 2005 or 6, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it feels older than that to me, but I think part of that is just that he's trying to emulate a style of, those earlier comics.
That
And
is
it's, yeah.
DC is what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's him saying, you know what, I don't like you motherfuckers, and this is him lighting them up.
Especially the Batman guy. Oh my god, he went out just so hard. Just damn it, dogged his ass. Just smash. Oh.
That was really
That's not coming out.
No, that's why he has
but
to,
the funny-
hide the suit.
Yes. Well, and to be fair, this series ends way before Walking Dead ended. I mean, Invincible's ended. What was it? 100 issues? I
think it made it to 100.
I know it made it to 100, but I don't know how much further after that. So it wasn't relatively long running. So I'm sure we will see beginning and end.
I'd say it was about a third of the run of Walking Dead, probably.
So not too bad. Worth picking up if you can find those first issues. Good fucking luck. Don't get a trade. Even the trades are hard to find right now. Nobody's printing shit.
Nope.
Right? Do you think it's going to be greenlit for a second season?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do too.
I can see Netflix actually, or Amazon just running this whole thing to the end of the comic series. Because it won't be that difficult to do. There'll be a couple changes in lineup because of licensing issues. Because, like I said previously, Savage Dragon, I don't think Larson's going to let that out. There's a couple of other characters that are in the Image universe that are missing, but I think that they can substitute with somebody else. So I'll be curious to see what that is, but it won't be hard to run this whole thing.
Well, especially with Larson, especially because he's kind of off the reservation these days. So
that's putting it mildly. He's up in that cabin with Alan Moore.
Yeah,
he's freeing the birds out of Alan Moore's beard.
Yeah, he's kind of
that's a visual
he's keeping stuff to himself right now. They probably could get 5 seasons?
I think 5 would be easy. 5 would be easy. But we don't know where this is going to end. I have a feeling this is probably going to knock out at least 10 issues, maybe.
I was leaning towards the 15 mark, but you're probably right around 10. Probably where they'll actually end it.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see where this run runs till, and fingers crossed. But yeah, I have no doubts they'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's just different enough to be satisfying. It's just different enough to make its differences all the more powerful and interesting.
And it doesn't take away from the other stuff because it's different enough to be okay, so it's not just the same shit.
The payoff.
Yeah,
the payoff
really, the
totally
only thing I can compare it to is The Boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the payoff is better than The Boys, and I think actually the storylines for all the characters are starting to develop to now you're getting their buy-in.
Yeah.
So, and not to mention the guy that's behind this again is Seth Rogen. Yep. He is just on point right now with projects. I don't see him letting this end. So I would expect this to go the run. If you can find issues, if you're a speculator out there, get what you can. This is going to be another Walking Dead.
Even if you can grab up the trades, try and find them.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Now, a show we know is only going to have one season is Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I don't know if I could handle a second season at this point.
The introduction of characters continuing to show up.
Yes.
Was really cool. And
it's almost too much.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's a lot. They're doing a lot of shit in this episode.
It's a lot of groundwork for the future.
Yeah.
Now we have 2 episodes to unpack on the tonight, and
Yes.
holy mother of God, did a lot happen over the last 2 weeks on this show.
Well, last week's episode kind of like was a disappointment, though. I just kind of like beat and then just like
That thing was
blind.
brilliant, though.
Yeah, that thing was great.
And
we got a
I
fucking classic
disagree.
montage.
I would say that last, not this week's episode, but last week's.
And
I would say, in terms of cinematography, that is one of the most brilliant pieces of shooting I've seen from Marvel.
Yeah, but you want to know why? Because it's the guy from Parabellum, John Wick. That's John Wick's director right there.
I know, and his feeling is all through it. But regardless, the way it was shot was just so well done. I was like, the way they created a villain using nothing but the angles and the shooting of the character. It's like, it was fascinating to see. I would love to see actual film critics analyze it, because it is very interesting.
they shit all over it just like they normally do.
Yeah, it's I just love Baron Zemo. I'm on. You know what?
Yeah.
Team Zemo all
I
the
can't
fucking way.
You see what they end up doing with him, because there is no chance that he's not coming back.
No, there's no. We're seeing the Thunderbolts. I have a prediction. The 2 teams that we're going to see come around. My money is on Thunderbolts and what's Strange's team, the Secret Defenders.
Well, see, I was we're going Secret Defenders or not, or if they're going to go with the Suns with him.
Maybe, but he had less to do with the Suns, but more with Defenders, and I could see where he's getting them all together for that than the Midnight Suns. So,
Well, I think we're seeing Midnight Suns before we see the Secret Avengers, though, because with when Blade is taking place in the timeline, I think we get that before we get Secret Defenders.
all right, I'll be curious to see. But I'm my money's on a Thunderbolts for sure.
Oh, that's happening. And we're in Young Avengers, too. They're doing a lot of work for that.
I got a Young Avengers #1 variant sitting over here that I'm going to put up on for sale.
Oh, go ahead and do that. Not probably yet, though, because I don't have everyone out yet. Probably wait till after Hawkeye comes out.
Nah, I'm going to put it up now. $450. That thing's going to go.
I just say wait till they Bishop out and then do it.
Nah, maybe so. But I'm all Zemo all the way. I agree. I love Daniel, how he's portraying Zemo.
I think he's doing a really good job.
Oh my God, isn't he? I mean, he's just on point. And when he put the mask on and how he's executing people, and I'm just, suddenly I'm Bill Cosby, and that's just it. Zemo brings out the inner Bill Cosby.
And they're doing a lot of work, especially this last episode on the soldiers that these 2 men are.
Yes.
A lot of
This is
where they came from and why they're the way they are and all that. Like a lot of work for that.
Yeah, they're hitting military criticism pretty hard in this series, a lot more than I thought they would, and I am all for it.
This whole show is supposed to be the backstory, and like getting to know these 2, and really like delving into who they are and why they are. So that's what it's doing, and it's doing that in a way that honestly didn't expect it to be able to do. I wasn't expecting this level.
A lot of it is the way that they did it, because they broke it into pieces. You don't get this big lump of information at any point. Little pieces of information, little stories, little conversations coming out, and then this big thing at the end of these 2 finally realizing who they are to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not doing the classic info dump, which is awesome to see, because Marvel movies have done that before, and it's nice to not see them bring that forward because that's just a base level. What is good writing versus bad writing thing, and it's like I feel how Marvel has grown in this series a lot more than a lot of other stuff. This and WandaVision, you really see the growth of that IP and that group.
Yeah.
And the biggest info dump we got was an important one, and that was Isaiah Bradley's story.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because it kind of tells you the background of basically everything that's happening. And how it's been, all of this stuff has been undercover for so long. And then just to keep connecting that big info dump to two other big stories that happen. You know, there's the big cameo, and then there's what happens with Bucky and Sam having this conversation. Both of those things play completely into that info dump with Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know, and from a completely theatrical perspective, like looking at the way they're doing the lighting and the costuming and all of the other little details, you can tell that Marvel isn't treating this as like, oh, this is like a one-off TV show. This is a major part of the whole cinematic universe. As such.
Well, of course, they brought Balrog in.
I love the bringing back Rock in again. It gives some value to the character because basically in Winter Soldier it was the dude that got his ass whooped.
Yeah.
And then the beginning of this series was the dude that got his ass whooped again. And then you find that, well, the reason he keeps ending up in these situations is because he's being paid to act with these people. And there is this external force kind of putting pressure on them.
Be curious to see.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best parts is the trip to the brass monkey. So don't know. In mid-rapport, there is the famous bar. So everyone's like, what's up with it? The Brass Monkey Bar. It's where everybody goes in mid-rapport. It is the focal point. They've made songs about this. It is like a crucial element to the Marvel underground and villains that come. So it's a very big key. So I'm hoping that this isn't the last we see of it, especially with the trailer for Shang-Chi landing. And I'm hoping the 10 Rings has something to play into this, and the power broker, who we have yet to see who's the power broker. So there's just so many elements that are in motion for this that it's kind of like, ooh, tell me a story.
Right.
It's been a long time since I've had a brass monkey, but this is making me crave one.
In fact, that is the nerd cocktail that'll be on my show this coming week. So it's a very easy, tasteful, yummy.
Isn't it? Isn't it just a 40 with orange juice in it?
No. No.
Yeah, that's what a brass monkey is. You drink like a quarter of your 40, and you pour the rest orange juice.
No.
Also known as a host.
No. A brass monkey is rum, vodka, orange juice, and a garnish.
Oh, you're doing that version.
A legitimate version.
I don't think that the Beastie Boys were drinking anything with a garnish.
They're drinking Mickey's with orange juice. That's the brass monkey.
They had to get their vitamin C somehow. That's all I'm saying.
Yours is the classic version of a brass monkey.
Yeah, it is what a brass monkey is.
But the people let the world know what a brass monkey is.
It's not what a brass monkey is. It's the hobo juice. That's more accurate.
Yes,
the hobo cocktail of death.
I mean, I'm honestly right there with you. Drink yours long before I would let that shit fucking touch my lips.
well, as someone who has drank several brass monkeys, don't knock it till you try it.
I'm not.
You know, I'm knocking it,
before I
Tank.
try it.
I am knocking it hard.
It goes down good it on a Sunday morning when you got a hangover.
You know what?
When my brother were in college and they would get like a keg for a party, the next morning they would mix the leftover beer with Tang and they called it Bang.
Oh my god.
That's the original Bang energy drink right there.
Oh. Okay.
That's awful.
That's horrific.
You gotta reuse what you got left in the morning,
I guess. Sure.
I am
Oh.
so glad I don't drink beer.
I'm
never
so
been more
glad I'm not in my 20s anymore.
I started doing that when I was on my
All right,
teens, I don't know.
so you mentioned the Shang-Chi 10 Rings trailer dropped, Smurf, so let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I don't care about this movie.
Come on, dude.
I really don't.
It's the Mandarin.
Look, the Mandarin, I'm fine with. I'm almost pissed that they're ditching the Ben Kingsley version. I understand why, but
Because it wasn't the real Mandarin.
But it wasn't the real Mandarin. I understand.
Really, some dude in a like warehouse in LA didn't do it for you, Tank?
But,
No.
well, no, but it was still entertaining, and I'm hoping that they do bring him and Justin Hammer back at some capacity. But I never cared for the comic book character.
See, Mandarin's one of my favorites.
The Mandarin I'm fine with because he's an Iron Man villain. But Shang-Chi as the hero, I don't give a shit. I don't
think he is the hero. I think that he's the Chinese pain in the ass.
He's Bruce Lee.
Well, I mean, he's
hi, Dad. Thanks for joining. Apparently, banging something different to his generation.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
She is Bruce Lee with superpowers.
Well, I mean, we had that with Iron Fist, and we saw how well that series went.
Iron Fist sucked, and that's a different story.
All right,
it's the same principle.
Okay, in the preview, in the trailer that dropped, there are some aspects that look really interesting, and there are some aspects that make it look like an ad for J. Crew.
See, I was getting flashbacks to the Wolverine.
Which one?
No, the Wolverine, the one they did with the Silver Samurai.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was getting a lot of flashbacks to that.
So, like, I feel like this movie has potential, but I'm not going to throw my hat into either ring until I see more.
I'm disappointed. I think there are much more provocative characters out there that they could tap to do the story more effectively.
Ooh. With Mandarin, we already killed off one guy that could do a better story, so you have to have someone else.
I mean, even if it's like Armor Wars and we bring in Rhodey, we introduce a couple of other different Iron Men. I mean, we still have the Guardians. Yeah, but it could include them. We don't need Shang-Chi is my point.
No, we need Mandarin.
We do need Mandarin, and he could be with Iron Man. We don't need Shang-Chi is my point.
Iron Man's dead, honey.
Honey.
I'm totally using that as one of our hashtags. Iron Man is dead, honey.
Iron Man's dead, honey.
Well, we will be. I think Mandarin's going to come back at that point. I don't think they're going to. This is going to be a one and done with Mandarin. He's too important to the universe. So we are probably going to get some connection in the Armor Wars stuff. Also, I'm assuming they're going to play up the Armor Wars thing, and we're going to get probably Justin Hammer back. I'm assuming, and we're going to get some of those characters.
The problem, one of the bigger problems we're facing is we don't have an Avengers. I mean, half the team's gone. I mean, we lost Black Widow, Cap's gone, Thor's in space. I mean, that leaves us with Hulk. And
who doesn't really want to be an Avenger?
Who doesn't want to be an Avenger? Vision and Scarlet Witch, which that we saw how that
Vision is dead. Well, dead. White Vision. We don't know what he's thinking because he now is thinking.
Vision's, yeah, he's Ovaltine. We don't know what. We're waiting for the Dakota ring to figure that fucking shit.
Well, that's why they're setting up 2 other groups right now. At least.
Yeah,
probably 3. I'm seeing 3.
Defenders could very well be a reality.
It could be, and like you said, if it ends up, if something spins out of the Doctor Strange thing with Scarlet Witch and all that stuff, then yes, we could easily see a Defenders.
Mm-hmm.
It's a guarantee that we're getting a Young Avengers. They've introduced 5 of the characters already for Young Avengers, so that's a guarantee at this point. And Thunderbolts, with them coming with Madam Hydra, that's basically a guarantee at this point too now. So
yeah, so good. Julia Louise,
cool cameo.
Julia Louise Dreyfus. It just felt like an episode of Veep. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was waiting for the bald guy to come scurrying out from underneath her skirt.
Yeah, she very much played that character.
Treasure troll.
I thought she did a great job.
But I'm fine. I mean, I just think that there's better choices for heroes out there than Shang-Chi.
You're not
I don't disagree
incorrect,
with that.
but you're also, you know...
But to go against the Mandarin, you're bringing in the Mandarin. So to go against him, who's better?
So, Tank, what I'm hearing is you don't care who fights the Mandarin, you just want the Mandarin.
It's just wants the Mandarin. Yes. I'd be fine with Rhodey just showing up and getting his ass kicked in the War Machine armor. Just the Mandarin just serving him up his ass.
The Mandarin can
there
show up in a school cafeteria and face down the biggest bully there.
I don't know. The Mandarin's faced off against Mandarin's faced off against Hulk.
Yeah, but we can't do a Hulk movie. That's still not there. Universal still has it.
Do you think they'll go off the Hulk in the MCU?
They won't kill him.
Well, you got the She-Hulk series that's coming,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that you're going to see a lot of other elements come out of that. I think Red Hulk will get that iteration of the Hulk. I think Ruffalo will make an appearance as the Green Hulk in there. So,
and then he'll Bruce Banner, and then we'll get Amadeus Cho.
Yeah. We'll get
Now,
Cho.
what I want to know is, will we see Princess Hulk?
Who?
Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Princess Hulk.
Only at my house.
Oh, only at your house? Princess Hulk is a girl version of Hulk who gets to wear a tutu but still say Hulk smash, because She-Hulk doesn't say Hulk smash. She-Hulk uses full sentences.
Princess Hulk is my 5-year-old daughter.
That's hilarious.
I
piece that together.
Yeah.
So I want to know if in all of the other variations of Hulk we're going to see, will we see Princess Hulk?
I find it unlikely.
Yeah.
Find it very unlikely. At the most, we may get Rick Jones, but I think Princess Hulk is probably not going to happen.
We should. Princess Hulk is awesome.
If we get Rick Jones, that'd be fun.
Princess
Hulk. Wait, it's in Shang-Chi. I agree with you. There is better characters, but if they're going to go with something that makes sense right now, considering that they're basically just saying that Mandarin is running the east of the world, and it makes sense for it to be an Eastern-based character.
No, I know. I get it. I'm just not pleased. And maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Ant-Man and Wasp turned out to be one of the best Marvel films of the Galaxy. Guardians, I already said Guardians was going to be a hit. I was singing that song way before everyone jumped on the bandwagon.
Very few that
I know, because I know shit. Unlike Stache, who's just as stubborn and a pain in my ass.
But either way, it's just a teaser trailer. Got it more. I'm assuming November. Probably get another full trailer or something.
Possible. We'll see.
All right. Do you want to talk about a movie that we did see and that nobody liked?
Sure.
New Mutants.
Yeah. Let's go into the other category of Marvel movies that technically weren't Marvels, but still were.
So
they're of that, comic book genre, but not of that studio.
Or the universe.
Thank
God.
Thank God. So we did post a meat and potatoes review of this film when it originally released. And needless to say, there was some kind of resistance. Some people actually liked it. I don't know why. And there are like people that are now that has been re-released on HBO. They're like, well, it's not bad. No, it is.
It is.
It really is.
Well, I found it very helpful to fall asleep.
It's slightly better than Dark Phoenix. That's the one I'll give it.
It is better than that. What was before Dark Phoenix? That was
the Apocalypse.
That was Apocalypse. Better than Apocalypse.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's better than Apocalypse.
I wouldn't say that either.
I stayed awake for all
It's
of Apocalypse. I couldn't finish New Mutants.
It's not as good as the future Days of Future Past, for sure.
It's
I enjoyed
horrific.
Days of Future
The only
Past.
reason, the only thing really to watch it for is the chick Ilana Rasputin that's in Queen's Gambit.
Even her
number one crush, but her acting was so bad, and her character completely transitioned with no arc whatsoever. It's like that was my problem. It's like where
Jump cut
the middle
transitions
of this movie where shit actually happened and characters evolved, because it went from here's the starting people and now they're completely different and all best friends without dealing with any of their issues.
Yeah, they did a lot of those characters dirty, which is sad because Magic is a really good character.
Even though Lockheed's not hers, which kind of bugged me.
Well, that was annoying, yes.
Why couldn't they just do Sim? I mean, there's a perfectly good bodyguard that's in her world that they could use in Sim.
Well, they could have done a lot of things.
It would have been way better.
Well, they could have actually made a good movie.
They could have.
There.
I mean, how many push-offs did we see for this film's release? 5? 6?
Something like that. It was and it was supposed to be originally released way back when. So
to have these many delays, to have it so lame and fall short of any expectation, it
was supposed to be released so long ago that when they broached the idea of doing reshoots, literally every character had aged out.
Yeah, because Macy Williams is definitely aged out. So is the guy from Stranger Things.
Yep.
I don't know the guy that was playing Sunspot. I don't know what happened to him.
I'm assuming he aged out also because he probably doesn't look like he's 17 anymore.
Yeah. So it's
and see, in those higher teenage years, it's easy to look that age for a long time.
I guess.
Not with the characters they chose.
Yeah.
Especially with Maisie's the big one. Like, there is no shot that they would have been able to do reshoots on that. Because
I get that. Like, I do for some of those characters. But I'm just saying, like, for being, 15, 16, 17, whatever, like, a lot of actors who play that age range are already in their 20s.
True.
Yeah.
The guy that played that character, Sunspot, if I was to tell you what his power was, or if I was to ask you what his power was, what would you think it was? Based on the movie.
Getting angry and lighting on fire?
Yeah. You know what his actual power is? He can control the sun.
He channels plasma.
He channels sun powers.
Oh,
he can channel the heat of the sun.
Yes.
That's what his actual power is.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he is a monster in the comic books.
That is so much cooler than what I thought. I thought he was just a weird robot like that Fantastic Four guy.
No,
he puts the Human Torch to shame.
Yeah.
He can't fly, but he puts the torch to shame.
Yeah, no, he can control the power of the sun. Not just turn things to ash and throw them at a giant demon bear.
And steam up a pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they did not do service to the characters in that.
They did no justice to these characters.
Mirage was decent. that's all like decent because her powers kind of fucked with people the way that they're supposed to. But even that was not.
You didn't. Exactly. Well, but see, that's just it. They kind of combined a couple of different powers because there's some abilities that come later.
Yeah.
Because later she becomes like a Valkyrie. She's a Valkyrie and she goes off to live in Asgard. Yeah. But her original thing is like basically just to pull out people's fears and give them substance.
Yeah.
And just really fuck with people. But it's you lose that in this film. And you're just kind of trying to like figure out, is it sugar cover? Is it aliens? It just gets lost.
And how they tried to badass magic by just kind of making her a bitch.
Yeah,
was not nice. No. That was not nice of them to do that. I mean, magic is a lot more endearing than that.
Way more enduring. And I mean, I've got no love for Cannonball. Don't get me wrong. I don't really give a shit for the character because they've tried a lot of different paths for this guy.
But they made him look like a pussy.
But just a chump. I mean, just seriously, I'm a powered tetherball.
Yeah. The only thing they did that was kind of cool with him is when they had him power up in that hallway and just tear through the Mirage's things. That was kind of cool, but that's like a lot more explosive and dominant than that in the comic books. Even though he's not a great character, he is better than what they showed.
Yeah. I think what the problem is the film was built towards us as a horror film that they're kind of taking into the darker side and building off the fears, which they failed miserably. Like an absolute fail. I wanted to see more smiley face guys. That would have been fun. We didn't get it. No. And that would have been cheap. That would have been inexpensive. Cost a hell of a lot less than the goddamn bear that was lame.
The demon bear.
The demon bear. Fucking issue 18 of New Mutants. Like, come on.
All I know is Marvel needs to make sure they don't get too many more of those.
Well, we didn't even get the cool reveal that should have happened at the end of that movie. And that was Mr. Sinister.
Yep.
We didn't even get Mr. Sinister, which would have made it at least kind of interesting.
We had a better entrance into Mr. Sinister at the Deadpool film than we did the New Mutants.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. All right. Well, let's stay on HBO and go over to The Nevers.
Why does Joss Whedon write such interesting female characters if he hates women?
I don't know. I really hate that. I hate that. Like, I want to hate Joss Whedon, and I hate him as a person because, like, he's a shit human being. But I love the way he writes women. I love the way he writes characters. I do. And I hate that.
I was actually interested. I'm not a huge Joss Whedon fan, honestly. I could take or leave Firefly. I know a lot of people hate me for that, but
no, okay. Firefly,
whatever.
Obviously, I have a place in my heart for it. Mm-hmm. But like Dollhouse
was okay.
Right?
Buffy was good. But Joss Whedon, for being such a miserable prick to women, apparently, he makes some of the most interesting female characters in cinema and entertainment total. Like, he makes interesting characters.
He does. He's great at creating characters. He's just a shit person.
Yeah, but the weird part is he makes interesting female characters specifically.
Yeah, and dynamic women.
Yeah, and ones that have agency and have a story and have, some interesting things happen to them and around them and because of them.
He must have one weird, twisted little fantasy growing inside him.
Yeah, he must have like some fucked up mama issues or something, I'm guessing.
Can you use that?
Abuse him?
Hashtag fucked up mama issues.
I mean, how many episodes are we supposed to get out of this?
Well, they already we're in pre-production on a second season, but I think it's 10 episodes.
Yeah, I think it's 10 for the first
Yeah.
season, and I think that they are working on season 2, but he is not going to be involved in season 2.
He's gone, so we may get like an entirely different freaking show out of this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
who knows? I know that having finished episode 2, I want to continue watching it.
I'm curious. Episode 1 in, I was like, okay, I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse out there. So okay,
You know?
I'll go along, but
I still want to find out what the hell is happening and who is doing what to whom, and
no, I mean it's he does some great groundwork, great world building. Is it better than like his intro into Firefly or the Buffyverse? No. I mean,
no. It's a much
personal, it's
slower.
arguable.
It's a much slower intro.
Yeah, and I can understand it's not, I don't know. I mean, if we're only getting 10 episodes, and you don't have like a full 20-some episode that you get for Buffy or Firefly, I could see that this might be
Firefly, you only got
difficult.
11 episodes total.
Yeah.
See, kind of too slow almost, but we'll see.
The second episode is good. The second episode gets a lot deeper, and you learn a lot more about some specific characters.
Yeah,
That does kind of create some intrigue for the whole storyline. So
I agree.
You can kind of see where they're leaning and where the story might be moving.
And there's a lot of subtle hints about some of the characters that you're kind of going, what did she just say? Oh, I caught that.
It's overall probably going to be an interesting season. Obviously we have no idea what could potentially happen with season 2, but it's not a bad watch.
Is it worth watching?
I think
Like,
so.
is it worth investing the time? Do you think? Like, from what you've seen?
So far, yes.
I can see losing this show and not really missing it, but that's just me.
Yeah. Because I saw trailers for it, and they kept advertising it to me when I was watching stuff on it. And I was like, it looks interesting, but I just am not in the right mood for this right now.
It does.
No.
I will say this: it is a specific mood.
Yeah, it's
And
also a period piece.
Yeah, very much so.
So
Yeah, it's giving me irregular vibes. And I just watched that show, and it's kind of like I'm not anxious to watch a similar idea unfold differently.
this is very different.
Watch them back. I could see where you'd see some similarities, but they are very different stories.
Yeah, they are very, very different. Very different cinematography. I feel like they're very different shows.
Yeah. I could see because they both kind of have that weird supernatural aspect to this, the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very different stories.
I just would rather see the return of Orlando Bloom. Milo Bloom. No. Yeah, Orlando Bloom.
Right.
Because I like that series a hell of a lot more than I like this one. And it looks like they're kind of shooting for the same freaking group, to Stache's point. I'm like, I don't want like the same idea or same kind of premise abused in a different direction that I don't think I really want the buy-in for. I'm like, it's like they're just throwing so many shows at us, and everyone's kind of like ripping off the other person's idea. Why don't we just finish one of the shows and focus on other things?
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's just too much of the same stuff. Okay, great. Okay.
Wow, I actually agree with Smurf. Weird.
Because I am right.
Somebody check the temperature in hell.
I agree.
It's snowing outside. There you go.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, well, let's talk about something Stache does like. Love, Death, Robots.
Powerpuff Girls?
What?
Wow.
Love, Death, and Robots.
I am so fucking excited for the second season. I've been waiting for so long.
I know it
And
feels like it's been forever.
Yeah, I can't believe they just released this teaser this close to release date. Like, it comes out in a few weeks.
Yep.
And
It's gonna be fun on a bun.
yes, it is. I'm so excited, although I'm pissed off because it comes out the day before my mom's birthday, so I'm not going to be able to watch it all that.
I'm going to watch all of it and then just send you screen caps.
I will stab you. Sir.
I'm going to do the same thing.
I have a shit ton of knives, and I will stab every one of you if I need to.
Probably gonna watch in small doses so I don't get too depressed.
You know, I don't.
That it's not as bad as Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of them are more upbeat than Black Mirror, which is one of the reasons why I like them, because they still deal with those incredibly complex and deep themes, but they don't necessarily beat you over the head with the hopeless beliefs of a reality.
Yeah, they don't bright it up, that's for sure. Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Black Mirror's a lot more devastating episode, to hopelessness.
But I'm curious to see if we revisit any of the pre-existing stories. I mean,
I don't think
so either.
But I think we'll see some of the same directors and animators doing slightly related, maybe similar animated styles or something like that.
In the trailer, it does look like we get robots again.
Well, it does look like we get robots again, and it looks like we get
that's kind of tied into the title of the show.
Yeah, we kind of have to get robots.
But you get there's that one episode from last season, from Volume 1, with the two robots doing the tour.
Yes.
Or the three robots taking the tour, taking the pictures and all of that with the cats. And now we get this trailer with the robot walking the dog, and it just really was like, oh, are we going to see the three robots again? I really want to see them again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll see those three again, but I think we'll see something equally toned.
Yes.
It's probably similar to the same way similar to the way they do Black Mirror, where it's kind of that anthology style of these are all potentially connected to each other tangentially, but this is essentially just different stories, same kind of a god.
And that's fine. I mean, a lot of the animation is absolutely just beautiful. Oh my god!
Yeah. I like Fish Night is one of my favorite animated pieces ever. I think it is just absolutely.
Did you just say Fish Night?
Really outdid itself. Fish Night.
Fish Night.
It's the one where the guy, like, there's all those prehistoric fish ghosts, and the guy goes diving with them, and
get eaten,
get tore up.
Really?
You never remember that?
Fuck you guys. That was my favorite episode.
I didn't say anything against it.
I know. I just remember you going on about it. That's the only reason why I'm giving you shit.
I think I'm more in line with Smurf though on the robot one. That was my favorite, I think.
No, it used to be Fish Nights. Now it is Zima Blue. Zima Blue is probably my favorite with multiple reviewings.
I don't know. I still like the Bug Planet. That one is still pretty impressive.
Yeah, what was Farmers?
Yeah, and what's the one with the archaeological dig?
Oh, that was like the Dracula one.
Yeah, I kind of really was digging that one. I didn't care for the spiders in space. The spiders in space really got to me with the negative verse and all that. I was just like, ooh, creepy.
Yeah, and that was the most beautiful animation I've ever seen.
Yeah,
to show me one of the most horrific things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was just brutal. But I did like the story and the narration for the wolf spirit that got turned into the cyborg. That was
it was a fox. Thank you very much, and that is probably my favorite one.
Really, Fox's favorite is the fox spirit? Oh my god!
And it was just so eloquently choreographed and put together. and the story that was told, I really do pull towards that one. But
see, that one I loved because it read it was viewed like a storybook. It was like you were reading a really beautifully illustrated book.
Yeah.
Not like you were watching a piece of cinema. It was a very interesting way of telling a story.
No, very, like I said, very well choreographed. It was very well just orchestrated. Everything was just perfect balance.
You're making me want to go for a rewatch, to be honest.
You
have to, because the second volume comes, I want to be like up to date. Absolutely.
But if they're not going to be building off of any of the previous stories, does it really matter if you're up to date?
We don't know. I'm not counting that out yet.
Okay.
See, I think I want to rewatch them for the directors, the animators, so you can really get a feel for each of the studios that did the work and see which one they did next. Because I think we're going to see a lot of overlapping studios.
Yeah, we'll see some repeats.
That's a good point.
Lots of repeats, I'm sure.
But I don't think we're going to see any sequels to any of the pieces. I mean, the only one I could see is the farmers with the bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
That one I could see getting a sequel, because that one just felt set up to be a sequel. But most of the ones didn't. Like, The Witness definitely didn't. The fighting episode didn't. The robots, I think, ended too perfectly to get a sequel.
Maybe? I don't know. The robots and the dig, I think, are the two that probably would fit the continuation formula fairly well.
Mm-hmm. I disagree, but that's okay. You can be wrong.
Whatever.
Am I anticipating a wager?
I was just about to say, but I'm tired of taking Stache's money.
And I'm spending all my money on my house right now. I don't have money to bet.
I don't know. We'll get you both drunk on Saturday, and we'll see what happens.
I got a TMNT number 4 just hanging out over there that I showed you last week. It's just
not up for bet.
Sure, why not?
I don't have anything valuable enough in nerd that I'm willing to wager for that.
Well, we'll see what be done to you in the dungeon on Saturday.
What was that?
I guess we're doing a trip to the dungeon on Saturday.
Well, you guys are all coming over for our hangout.
That's true.
Okay, so speaking of TMNT, a bunch of video game trailers dropped to include the TMNT trailer.
Which looks just like the original TMNT game.
It looks like the old stand-up arcade.
Yep. It's cool that they have a theme and they're going for it. I just don't know what kind of profits they're going to be looking for, because they're not going to get much.
Well, it's an indie game, so...
Yeah. Well, indie, I thought it was a pretty big studio.
I believe it was a small studio.
I may have been mistaken, because it was at a pretty press conference when it was first released.
It's funny how Stache says things like, I may have been mistaken, instead of, I was wrong.
Let me look real quick. I'll go back and look.
Stache never uses the W word when talking about himself.
Well, see, the thing is, there's publishers and then there's the studios. And sometimes the publishers are what I'm thinking of and not the studios.
That would still make you wrong, though.
Yes,
it would make me less correct.
Stache never says that he's wrong. He only says that he may have been mistaken.
That's true. I was less correct than I could have been.
Or he thinks that he may have been slightly incorrect.
Wildly inaccurate.
No, he will say that, because that has inaccurate in the title.
Emu's the publisher, and the developer is Tribute. So yeah, smaller studio.
Yeah. I must have just, maybe it was the press conference they were in or something. But
it's part of the
regardless, I'm glad it's a smaller studio. It's this is made for a very specific demographic. Like, I love Tmnt, but I didn't love side-scrolling beat-em-ups, so I don't even know if I'm going to be picking this up.
That was one of my favorite games as a kid.
Yeah, to be fair, that's not your era, Stache. It's not for you.
Yeah.
First-person shooters didn't even exist yet.
X-Men.
I'm well aware when first-person shooters started. Thank you very much. I was alive and playing video games.
See, one of my favorite games is Rage 2.
That's the thing. I have read a lot about Streets of Rage, and it's one of my podcasters that I listen to's favorite game.
Oh, yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah, so I know a lot about it, but it's that specific genre just doesn't appeal to me, and this doesn't seem innovative in the way Streets of Rage was. So I'm not sure if they're going to see any real success.
Very similar veins, honestly, but that's just me, I guess. I put those, and then the X-Men, the X-Men arcade game. I kind of put those all in the same box.
Juggernaut will flatten you. Oh my god!
But yeah, I guess it does have a kind of specific demographic, but that's a pretty still big demographic. People still like the side scroller kind of stuff.
I mean, there is still a market for it. I just don't think it's going to be much of in terms of like the biggest entertainment industry in the entire world. I think it's going to be a very small portion, but I think that's all they're looking for. It's just a small group of things.
The reason I count that is look what Cuphead did.
I know, but look at how innovative Cuphead was. Like, with its styling, its
music, definitely.
Music, I agree with, but the way that it was made is basically, old school platformer meets, 40s animation.
Yeah, the genres it ties together are super typical, but at the same time, the way they executed everything was very unique. And the thing is, they did it perfectly. Mm-hmm. And Cuphead is a gorgeous game. It's very stylistic, but it's still very beautiful to see. This TMNT looks just like the old ones did. And it's like there's always the nostalgia for it, but there is also, I think there needs to be a little more innovation to promote a really successful game.
And we see it. It's hard to say. I mean, all of these are just trailers. We don't know what gameplay looks like. We don't know anything.
No, not too long from now. Which I'm always taking everything with a grain of salt because God knows I'm waiting.
Yeah, you're gonna buy it anyway. So
I probably will, and I'll probably play it for 1 hour and be like, okay, I got what I wanted out of this.
And
this is fine.
And I'm done. That was the best $50 I spent.
Right.
We don't have a release date. I don't think any.
Yeah, it's not full price.
I don't think any of the stuff we showed at Indie World has a release date yet.
So a couple other games that dropped. Tank, you sent out all of the links to those trailers. Do you want to go through that list?
I mean, it's just a bunch of different stuff. There's the Skul, the Hero Slayer, it's a new rogue style game.
Roguelike.
Yeah. Raji, which looks like it's interesting because based on what I saw, it looks kind of like it plays off of Assassin's Creed, but in India.
I don't think there ever was an Assassin's Creed in India, so that's
there was, but it was there was an Assassin's Creed India, but it was a very small side scroller game.
I got the feel of Prince of Persia out of it.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
But that could be fun if you like that kind of open world adventure style stuff. Hood, Outlaws and Legends, which looks like it's going to be Robin Hood, if I had to guess.
I mean, that's fine. is already like 50 of those games,
Yeah.
but I guess
Only 50?
something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One more is not gonna kill us, I guess.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh, Aztec Forgotten Gods. That was one that I actually kind of liked that one.
Yeah, that one actually looked pretty cool.
Very, very stylistic, very artistic approach, it looks like, to their game.
So the opening of that trailer made me think, okay, 90s the Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes. Yeah. There is some definite some of those kind of vibes to it, the Hidden Temple stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was probably an inspiration, honestly, because it very much does take off of the essentially the South American gods, is what it looks like.
Oh, that's cool. That makes sense.
Based on the play that they showed, it's looking like it's kind of a God of War style. But South
I
American
remember.
gods.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this. Now you mention it. I didn't actually see the trailer, but I remember a lot of people said it looked interesting and looked pretty solid. So,
But yeah, that but even I can't place the time frame on this. That's the part that's throwing me off.
I'm not sure exactly. Honestly, now you mention it, because the problem is it is an isolated time in want to say like it's not Russia, but it's one of those countries right around there.
Yeah, it's one of those Eastern Bloc areas. But I was confused because like just the bare minimum that they gave us, I was looking at it and I'm like, I'm having these weird thoughts like this is taking place before any of the other movies or any of the other games. God, I fucking hate those movies. I don't know why they're stuck in my head.
Because I had to watch all of them. And Mila Jovovich.
Why did you have to?
You don't have to watch those. You don't have
I did.
I
Mila
did.
Jovovich is hot.
That's why you had to?
But she's in other movies. Watch those.
I watched all of them.
I've watched all of them, and I will watch them all again.
The first one was not terrible.
No,
It wasn't.
the first one was a great movie.
I wouldn't go as far as great.
I'm not saying great. Sorry, but
The third one was okay, and the rest of them were just dog shit. But I fucking saw all of them in theaters opening night, midnight. You bet your fucking ass I was there.
either way,
And I was
Yeah,
so
well, you
proud.
also saw all of the Sharknado movies, so we're not going to trust your opinion on shit.
Well, you know, as much as you bring that up, we have already addressed that it is a valid thing to watch, and it is awesome.
No one has said
No.
it's a valid thing to
No.
watch.
No,
No,
I
yes,
will
it
validate
is.
it on the idea that if you like bad B movies,
You validated it.
It is a great.
You.
That's all it is.
Again, you're
You are the
projecting
only
the
one who
place.
validates
I
it.
don't think it counts as a B movie because it had an A movie budget.
Yes. And I don't think
No,
great
that's
means what
true.
you think it
And I
means.
think it's a D movie.
Sharknado never had an A budget movie.
How do they get everybody? Are you out of your mind? Come on.
Look at the
Everybody really
cast.
got in there?
No, dude, they don't pay those people. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah,
All those people.
Tara Reid didn't get paid for that movie, I don't think.
Yeah,
I think they got her out of rehab for that movie.
I think they did too. But back to Village.
But The Village, yeah,
Um,
based on what I was seeing, it looks like it takes place before all of the other games.
yeah, I haven't seen anything that really dates it, honestly.
Well, I was just getting like an old feeling, like from the
Yeah.
general, I don't know, just the general environment that they were kind of portraying. It seemed more old world than the other stuff.
I don't know how much of that is just due to like the Eastern European look, or if it's actually set like that. Because I don't think I've seen any guns or anything in it.
Great. Turn around all damn game for a fucking bullet.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know. We'll see. I know so far a ton of it is based around like foraging and killing animals and like cooking them and making meals that give you permanent upgrades.
All right, fuck that. I'm out.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. That's why it looked like it has an older feel to it. And
It does. And I don't know how much of that is stylistic and how much of that is actually the time period.
yeah,
That I don't know until you can play the demos. It's either now or soon.
I have not looked for them, so I don't know.
It's like they addressed it in my podcast I listened to today, and I did pay close enough attention.
I'll keep an eye out, I guess. But either way, it seems weird. Seems
It does.
they're going in a seemingly a different direction than they've gone in the last couple. So I don't know.
I mean, I'm all for it.
It looks like it's going to be more pushing towards the survival aspect of things.
Very much. But, I mean, that's how a lot of them are.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've seen...
But the problem is we just had The Last of Us 2.
That's true. Yeah, but Last of Us 2 didn't come out on anything but PS4, so...
Well, like I said, I just had The Last of Us 2.
Yeah. It's like, there's... I mean, it's been, what, a year?
Yeah, about
it's only been about a year since Last of Us came out. I don't know, but it's how Resident Evil is timing their stuff now. They're releasing a game at the beginning of the year every year. They have for the last, 3 or 4 years, so...
It seems like it could get tiresome.
I'm worried about that too, but we'll see. Capcom has been nailing it lately, so I have hope. It's like, and then we got the Resident Evil 4 that's coming out, so it's like they're doing one old and then one new, and we'll see how this works. It's like if they can maintain it for a decent amount of time, they're seeing success, and that's the main thing. And this one looks really interesting, and I am loving all of the vampire mommy memes because it's really funny. And I never realized so many people were bottoms.
Really?
It doesn't matter if you're a top. If you're into an 8'6" woman, you are a bottom.
No, honey,
She's
that's
gonna
not how
make
that
you
works.
a bottom.
No, boo, that's not how that works.
I will fucking power bottom this shit, okay? You would.
But that's time for my other hat. So while we're on the video game topic, let's talk about the fact that Amazon canceled the Lord of the Rings MMO.
Well, okay, so let's talk about Amazon's game production in general. Yeah. It is dog shit, man. It's like they tried super hard, but half the games their studios have been working on have been canceled. Two of their games that they released have closed prematurely. They canceled the services and killed the servers. Are we surprised that the Lord of the Rings, an incredibly difficult IP to deal with, they are failing on an MMO that probably wouldn't see much success, because if you're not a 10 to 15-year-old MMO, you're not seeing success anymore? It's it makes sense, but Amazon has really been suffering on their game scene. Really quite badly.
Well, and it also makes you think how much of it is because of their game is suffering and how much of it is because of how much money they've dumped into Lord of the Rings already.
Yeah, they're at what, $500 million for the first season of the TV series for Lord of the Rings anyway?
But the thing is, Lord of the Rings MMO has been in progress for longer than that series has been shot for.
But let's be honest, though, which one's probably going to have a wider audience?
Oh, there's no question whatsoever. It's going to be a series. Like,
So I can
there's no doubt. But, like, they were already investing so heavily in this IP. I'm surprised that they would just completely cut that one out. Because that game has been in production for, what, like, 3 or 4 years?
I thought it's closer to 5. And if they're going to put all this money into a series, why not have the MMO ready to go as best as you can with it? I mean, it only makes sense. It seems like you're leaving money on the table for me, especially when you put all of this fucking money and time into it. Like, 5 years, dropping the bucket for Amazon. Bunch of fucking momos. Give us money, you assholes. Give me a free month.
Yeah, just give us free Prime.
Give us just 1 month of free Prime. Do a lot of damage. I think this is just bad management. I really think this is just bad management.
It probably is.
This is stupid.
It is, and I think Amazon they wanted to get into the video game industry, but they didn't realize that it is very difficult.
Yeah, it's like the owner of Amazon. Hey, I want to make video games. Oh shit! All right, well, we're gonna do that.
Yeah,
they had this weird false sense of they could do it because of everything with Amazon Gaming and Twitch and all that stuff. And I'm like, wait, you already have the biggest streaming market. You own that basically at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave that alone. Keep that. Stay out of the video game making industry. You're already raking in billions of dollars just promoting gaming. So why would you try and
make your own?
It's called greed, and it's never enough.
You never know.
The dude's already the richest dude on the planet. Come the fuck on.
Evidently not rich enough.
It's like, that's the thing. Like, a good game, a good, like, breakout success makes billions of dollars. And it's like, I understand the appeal of trying to do that, but Google tried to do this, and they failed at doing it. And Amazon tried, and they're failing. It's like, and there's, what, hundreds of game developers every year that go under? It's like, it is a very difficult thing to do. And people romanticize it because it is so profitable. And
those days are gone.
I think they are. I think people are starting to realize that unless you have an amazing team that has worked in the video game industry, you're just not going to be able to have a breakout into this. And even if you do, the odds of it being discovered are very small.
Yep. Those days are gone, baby.
They are.
And most likely Peter Jackson is living under a cage under the bed of the owner of Amazon, is my guess.
He's Bezos' grandma now.
I mean, I would be
precious, and he just pokes him with a stick.
But I mean, the other news along with this is that they have spent $450 million on their series, which is one of the most expensive series ever made.
It's the most expensive series ever made. It's more than the movie.
$1 million more expensive than the most expensive.
It's more than the movies.
It has literally doubled the nearest person.
Yep.
I mean,
it was Game of Thrones.
I cannot fucking believe that. That's insane.
Yeah.
But I mean,
an absurd.
I hope it's good, man. Like, I really do.
It better be.
I mean, if nothing else, the special effects are going to be incredible.
Oh my God! If they're subpar, I'm going to send him a bad letter every day.
Well, my thought process
I'm just going to laugh so fucking hard.
How many more people could Amazon realistically draw to Prime?
Not enough to make up that money.
Realistically, could they even get close?
No.
Drawing in that many people?
No.
I mean, Amazon Prime, like, for the amount of people that use video, it's probably not a drop in the bucket for the amount of people that have Prime in general. But you're not going to be getting that many people in to generate anywhere near $476 million.
But
No.
a lot of it isn't getting them. A lot of it is just retaining they have.
You can retain it with The Boys and Invincible and
No,
I mean,
no. Think about this. Those are for a very specific demographic. Lord of the Rings appeals to a much wider demographic, especially after the movie. And they are doing the re-release of the movies that I just saw in theaters over the past month for the 4K 20-year anniversary of Fellowship. It's like, I understand why they picked this IP, and if they do it right, they can have something incredibly valuable, but it's not designed to just draw people to the service.
Well, and how many people do you think are going to drop off from not having it?
You'd be
You
surprised.
buy Prime by the year. That's the thing.
So
Everyone buys Prime by the year. It's $100 a year, and
But
you pay for it all.
But you're at this point now, like the same thing that HBO Hobo has been facing year after year after a successful series ends. You have The Sopranos, which, you know, they own the merchandising. They're running that thing as far and as hard as they can. Then you get like Game of Thrones. You've got, you know, all these successful series, and they're just to retain the people that are there to keep them interested from canceling or cutting back on their usage. So
$176 million.
Oh no,
You
it's
know
a
what?
ridiculous amount. It makes zero fucking sense.
That's the problem I'm dealing with. I don't disagree that they should make a show for Lord of the Rings. Cool.
I think there's more to this. They've got the licensing. I'm going to guarantee you they've got some licensing deal that we're not going to be able to go anywhere without Lord of the Rings merch. They're tied into it. It makes too much sense for them to not have like every aspect of this covered.
I know, but you can spend half of that and make a show that people would stay on for.
But if you could make it that much more and you've got the money to burn, why the fuck not?
Because you're burning fucking money. You just said it. That's why.
But if you could do it, why not? If you could bring your childhood fantasy to life, whatever genre, whatever film, whatever that may be, and you had an unlimited amount of money, wouldn't you dump and funnel as much as you could to make it as good and juicy for you, and everyone else just benefits? And of course, you're going to cover your bases with getting all the merch and the licensing and all the rest of the shit that's going to go with that.
Yeah. And I'm guessing my wildest imagination wouldn't invest that much money.
If you had it to use,
but you could do it for half.
Could you?
Probably. But do you think it's going to be worth $5 million when you're going to watch this? Do you think it's going to be worth $500 million? Really think about that.
It's already achieved object number one. Everybody's
People is talking about it.
Yeah.
Object number one by me pulling down my pants in the middle of the street. Okay.
Wow, there's visual.
Would gain attention. You know.
We're dealing on an entirely different level of financial backing that nobody else can do. I mean, with the exception of like Bill Gates or, you know, one of the other major players.
Disney could. They didn't spend that much.
Disney doesn't want to. Disney's got other problems right now. I mean,
And Disney has their hand in so many different things right now that their money is spread across so many different things.
Well, you even have creators now going after Disney to get their IPs back. So you've got like the people that the creators behind Predator are suing Disney to get the rights back for Predator,
which they have no really ability to do that.
They don't, but I mean, this is Disney's stretched too thin. They have reached maximum plateau. They're fucked. They can only do so much.
They're making like 15 different TV shows and 100 movies right now.
Yeah,
We'll see.
And
they're stretched as thin as the face in Doctor Who. Moisturize me. Moisturize me. Sorry,
Cassandra. I don't know. I'm curious. I hope it looks absolutely stunning.
It will have to be the most spectacular thing ever put on film. Everyone's going to be talking about it. He's already done what he wanted to do. I'm just telling you, this is a bigger plan. We're not seeing the full picture. God, you're probably right, but wow.
I'm not arguing. I'm absolutely fucking wow.
But I'm just saying we've seen
yeah, like Christopher Walken came out. Boy, I got Bill Cosby and Christopher Walken all in one podcast.
And we're not even done yet.
I'm just saying we've seen literally half of that get spent and make something incredible. So that's
what double it'll do.
Am I going to see the dragon come through my screen?
Do you have 3D glasses at home?
No. Dragon come out and tickle me with his tongue.
Well, maybe that'll happen on Saturday. All right. Yeah. So, for significantly less money than Amazon is spending on The Lord of the Rings, the Powerpuff Girls is being made into a live action TV show, but it is not a remake of our childhood cartoon. No. This is the Powerpuff Girls are all grown up and they are salty as fuck about their childhoods being stolen away from them having to fight crime. They are now in their mid to early 20s and they've decided to reunite because the world needs them to fight crime again. But this is them dark and salty and bitter, but still in their appropriate colors.
They're all grown up and they have trauma.
And we're going to have some jaded ass Powerpuff Girls.
Yes. Jaded ass Powerpuff Girls in live action. And this is coming to a small screen near you. Hold on, let me tell you when. This year.
Yeah, they just finished casting and it's yeah, okay.
I don't know how they're going to get it done that quick, unless they.
It's easy to do.
Well, I mean,
it's emotions. Yeah, you get some action, some cutaway scenes, and emotions in hallways and bedrooms, and you're done. I mean, this is no brain surgery. It's the same second fucking formula that we've seen with Legacies, all of the CW bullshit. It's the exact same thing over and over again. So
and it's happening on the CW, so that's exactly what you would expect.
Exactly.
Are we going to get the same opening monologue?
Probably. And emotions in hallways and bedrooms and street corners.
Are we going to get a giant gorilla?
We get
JoJo. Now they have already cast JoJo.
He's a monkey, technically.
JoJo has been cast. Nicholas Ponde.
I don't know who that is.
And who's playing the professor? They just announced the professor.
Donald Faison as professor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew that.
So you're going to have jaded ass powers, but the lead male is a comedy actor.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? Donald Faison can do drama.
You know what? Just because the girls are jaded doesn't mean the professor is. He probably still thinks that they're all happy-go-lucky and love what they did as kids.
Because yes, because he's going to be there and he's going to be the ray of sunshine and reinforcement of hope and joy and love and rainbows coming out of their asses.
And they're going to come back and they'll be all like, Professor, you giant tool bag douche. And they're all going to be, and he's going to be all like, hi, girls.
So we're getting Fuller House with superpowers?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Fuck you, Dad. I'm going to go to the stripper pole down the street. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, so we're getting JoJo.
That sounds fun.
And we're getting Sarah Bellum.
That's cool, but
did they cast Sarah Bellum yet?
Yeah, Robin Lively.
I don't know if I know who that is. I'll look her up though, and then I'll tell you if I'm excited or not.
Okay. Go ahead.
I said Chloe Bennett is probably the only big name that I really care about from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I'm worried about her future with Marvel if she's doing dog drama on fucking CW.
Well, yeah,
Chloe Bennett is going to be Blossom.
They talked about bringing her in for to rehash Quake.
Yep.
Yeah. Dove Cameron from well known on Disney Channel is going to be Bubbles, and Yana Perrault is going to be Buttercup.
All I know is that they better not show Cerebellum's face the entire time.
So they have not us pictures of what all of them are going to look like, other than the actual girls themselves.
In pink and blue colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So bad. So bad.
Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to be angsty and, damaged.
I mean, we're not seeing him because he would have been cast by now, or they would have been cast by now.
Well, that might be a big surprise one. You never know.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be bad, guys.
Yep.
It's gonna be
I'm
bad.
agreeing, man. This is.
Prepare for the train wreck.
This seems like it's not going to go well.
All while we get emotions and rooms and stairways.
Why couldn't they just bring it back as the cartoon?
Very good question. That is a very good question. That actually is the best question.
Because I'd watch all of those shows if they brought them back. Give me Courage, give me Powerpuff Girls. I'll watch that. Sure. But this doesn't seem like it's going to go well.
No, not at all. I mean,
right.
Think of what they did to Teen Titans. Like, the original series was really good, and then they did Teen Titans Go, and it made me blow my brains out.
Horrible.
Well, then they did Titans again, as, through the DC Universe thing.
Oh, well.
We got the big fuck you Batman. That was kind of funny.
That's pretty good.
Oh, well, hey, since you're talking about the DCEU, let's talk about the fact that Robert Pattinson is a big whiny baby. I mean,
there's too many Batmans.
Yeah.
No, you know what it is. He's intimidated because of the announcement of Christian Bale coming in to play older Batman since Michael Keaton can't do the role. And you know what? He should be worried, because if I was him, I run away because I'd be afraid of Christian Bale beating the fuck out of my pussy ass. I would just Robert Pattinson grow a goddamn pair, get a pube, borrow it from somebody. You whiny little bitch. Oh, I fucking hate this guy.
Hashtag whiny bitch.
You know what's sad? I was actually kind of starting to get excited about the Pattinson Batman thing until he opened his fucking mouth.
I have been anti-Pattinson from the beginning. I have never liked this son of a bitch. I didn't even like him when he was in the Harry Potter franchise before he sparkled.
Cedric,
I'm very pro Patterson. Like, he's actually a good actor.
Pattinson.
He was fantastic in The Lighthouse. Like, I feel like we talk about this every few weeks. I'm pro Patterson. That's all I need to say.
I like him. I was actually looking forward to this, the Batman. I actually was, because it looks like it's going to be an interesting story.
I was not opposed to the movie. I was opposed to their casting choice.
Why is he coming out whiny now? Why are you
Because he's a whiny bitch.
Shut up. Like, why? Just who cares? They're not replacing you.
Well,
Batman's.
That is one thing I have heard about him. I heard that he is incredibly dramatic.
Very dramatic. There's always been like an issue every week or every couple weeks on set. There's some new drama revolving around him. He can't show up this week. This last week he's got Rona, of course, and the week after that, his toe hurts from running.
Until now, I hadn't heard anybody saying anything about him being replaced.
No, he's not going to be replaced.
Yeah,
he's just
so why is he worried? That's what they're not going to suddenly CGI Ben Affleck into the movie, okay? They're not going to.
Oh my God, that would serve him right. Oh my God, they could impose.
Okay, no. Here's what's going to happen.
Affleck in the movie.
Yeah. From like Good Will Hunting or like one of the Kevin Smith films, and just put it over him.
If Dwayne Johnson gets his way about it,
yeah, we might see Batfleck again. because apparently Dwayne Johnson is the most powerful person in Hollywood right now.
Or at least in the DCEU.
At least to Warner Brothers, because he's basically recently hinted at the idea of bringing back Zack Snyder and his crew.
If anyone can do it, it's him. And Warner Brothers has got to hook their star to somebody right now, because without him, what do they got? Nothing. Not a nothing. Vin Diesel is on his way out. This Fast 9 trailer is just okay. We're gonna shoot cars in space.
You know why I want to see Fast 9? Because
so you can see
John
cars
Cena.
in space.
No, because John Cena is his older brother.
What is with you and John Cena?
I love him. He's ridiculous. He is ridiculous. That's why
he's so ridiculous. He shouldn't be part of this. We're gonna give him. We haven't even met the show, the movie, the whole series. It's all been about family. Now you have a brother that you ignored.
Apparently a giant prick.
But don't turn your back on family. The one fucking white guy that turned him into jail. He's family. He's okay. We accept him.
Yeah,
my brother who's
just brother.
Who's a dick.
Who's
no,
dick.
We can't tolerate that. I'm the dick of the family.
Disappeared for 2 decades somehow.
Son of a bitch. All I gotta keep saying is cars in space.
Which is awesome. I mean, they did.
I mean, there's technically already one out there. So
they did drop a tank out of an airplane at one point. So we're surprised here.
I hate Fast and Furious so much.
At this point, is it even?
Was not that bad because it had The Rock and Idris Elba and Jason Statham, so it was kind of entertaining, but it was still ridiculous.
Cars in space.
And you guys bitch at me for liking Sharknado.
I didn't say I liked Fast.
No one here said they liked Fast and the Furious.
Like
we enjoy mocking Fast and the Furious.
I will say that I enjoyed the first movie when it first came out because it was something different.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was Point Break in cars instead of on surfboards.
We hadn't seen Point Break in 20 years. Now we just saw another Point Break come out. So, it was something different.
All Fast and Furious was
in space.
When I saw
is this a case of art imitating life because Elon Musk sent a car into space?
You know it.
Yes.
You know it. They're like, let's just shoot Common's ass up into orbit, and we'll call it good.
I think
don't worry, they'll write it
trying to shit on The Rock.
They'll write it back into Earth and be fine.
Yeah, we're gonna write it back into Earth,
and then they'll drive it underneath the semi.
This is Vin Diesel taking a shot at Dwayne Johnson by saying, "I can be more ridiculous than you."
And the answer is no, you can't.
Well, he's putting cars in space. The Rock didn't do that.
No, The Rock took over Times Square.
He did, yes, he did.
The Rock knows better. I think
somehow.
But I mean, he's got like the golden touch. When you look at what The Rock has achieved,
those movies,
it's hard.
And just sells.
So hard to argue with him, and I know as much as it makes Stache's ass pucker every time we bring up how successful and good The Rock is, and I just like saying his name because I can just hear his sphincter tightening over here every time I say The Rock. So,
call him Dwayne Johnson. Does that change it?
No.
Does it make it worse? What if you call him Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
How about future president? Because that's what they're doing on his TV show.
Actually, you know what? His TV show is mildly entertaining. I watched the one that had the tribute to like all of the 80s wrestlers. Yeah. It was so fucking good. I laughed.
It has become my weird thing of the week to watch because I'm like, this is so ridiculous, but it's funny as hell because it's so ridiculous.
And then maybe that's the thing. He can make fun of himself. Vin Diesel can't. Vin Diesel takes himself way too seriously. The Rock knows he's ridiculous, and he believes it, and that's fine. I'm good with that.
He's a meathead.
He does. So I'm okay with that. And he's going to say Warner Brothers. He's going to keep them afloat.
Yep.
He's going to Ryan Reynolds the shit out of Shazam. He's going to bring in the Snyderverse because we're going to see another. We're going to see another Bat flick. I'm telling you right now, we're going to see another Bat flick.
But
absolutely,
it's because The Rock wants to act opposite of Ben Affleck. Apparently,
he wants to act. No. Not only Ben Affleck, but he wants Henry Cavill, and he wants
the whole crew.
He wants all of them. He wants to take them all on and just go WWF style on them. And I'm fine with that. I think this is great. I want to see this fight. I really do.
It'll either be brilliant or a catastrophic fire. Either way, it's going to be funny.
It can't be any worse than the trash that DC has been slinging over the last decade.
I mean, really, let's face it. When we talk about DC movies, we're like, yep, it's just another piece of DC.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
and Stache pipes up with, hey, but Watchmen was a good movie.
Watchmen is good. It is a great movie.
Yes.
That was over a decade ago.
My point exactly, Tank. My point exactly.
Stache's usual response is Sharknado. It's okay.
It's all right. No, it wasn't.
It was all right.
The first one wasn't bad. 84.
They just fucked up her origin. That's all. It's okay. So another movie that is of interest that we'll discuss is Kilroy is here, or Kilroy was here. Kevin Smith has decided to sell his newest film, Kilroy Was Here, as an NFT.
Yeah, which is an interesting move.
That is very interesting in terms of, like, no one gives a fuck about this movie, but it's probably interesting about the precedent it sets for future film sales. And if we are going to see people purchasing IP like this to edit and release.
I have had this explained to me, NFTs explained to me several times, and I still don't understand how they work. I really don't get how you can buy a movie as an NFT.
The people who make them don't really know how they work, to be honest. This is, I don't know if this is just following on like the trading card market, and they're just taking this to the next logical step, I guess, which is,
I don't know if this is the next logical step.
I mean, because the most recent step has been, baseball, basketball, Pokemon, Magic cards have all gone NFT and some other. And they're selling digital. Essentially, it's a GIF. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They're selling that as a actual piece of property. And so I guess the next step is you go from GIF to a movie, I guess.
So, who was the company that had the rights to Jay and Silent Bob's reboot? Was that Legend? No,
he has that.
No. The company that produced the film.
I don't remember. I just know that movie sucked.
Well, and I'm kind of curious because I'm surprised they're just not going with them. They had a reasonable amount of,
They had a lot of success, actually.
For a horrible film that should not have been done.
It made actually a lot of money. Yeah.
It did, and it was.
I mean, I saw it on Prime for.
Wasn't it? I thought Saban did
Legion. No, it was Legion. Legion M.
Oh, that's right. Because then they actually had the guys touring.
Yeah.
So Legion M was the one that did it. So
he did the touring thing to keep it on screen, basically, for longer than it should have been.
Yeah, when they did the tour and paid like scalpers prices just to sit in and watch this train wreck of a film.
Dude, it was so much money. I remember we talked about it. It was like obscene quantities of money.
Yeah,
he only spent like $10 million to make it, I think.
Well, they wasted that money.
So, what happens if the bidding for this is there a reserve? I mean, how much money do you think a Kevin Smith film is worth?
Well, are you basing that on how much it's worth, like, actually, or how much it's worth to Kevin Smith fans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much is it worth to Kevin Smith fan? Because what did he probably do to make this film? Another 5-10 mil, maybe?
Probably.
Don't know what the cost was on this one.
And it doesn't say in the article.
It's his movie, so I mean, the only movie he's ever had that cost more than $10 million, I think, was Cop Out, and that wasn't even his movie. So,
with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, and that wasn't his movie.
No, because Dogma was more than that. Wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but that also made a fuck pile of money, and that also was an IP that he doesn't own. This is something he actually owns,
which is why he can do this.
Yeah. Like his movies that he makes himself, that aren't tied to like Miramax or something like that.
View Askew and all that.
Well, yeah, his View Askew movies are like $10 million. I think
or less.
That costs more than that. Like Zack and Miri probably cost more than that. Cop Out probably costs more than that. Dogma costs more than that. But those were made by another company.
Right, those were made by a studio.
Owns those, yes. Somebody else owns that property. So for him, though, he's probably $10 million is what he probably spent to make it.
So who's going to pay more than $10 million for Kevin Smith to own it?
Probably a lot of people, to be honest.
And how do you make your money back on this? The only reason that I think Reboot even was successful is, like Tank said, that they went on the Let's Keep It Alive tour. You know,
the fact that he had 40 celebrity cameos in that movie.
Yeah.
Well, plus, Jay and Silent Bob actually went on that tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't pull
from
the plug
theater
on
to
us yet
theater.
tour.
Yeah, it was like a 6-month tour or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Basically, how many different cities could they get high in?
I don't realistically know how much someone's going to pay for it, but to fully own the IP and do whatever you want with it, that could be worth something to somebody.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be selling stuff attached to it, too. They're probably going to sell, producer credits, and they're probably going to sell, all kinds of shit like that attached to it, I'm assuming.
But what if the film sucks?
Oh, probably does.
It's probably going to.
I mean, it can't be as bad as Sharknado, but I mean, it really could not be good.
Dare you?
Well, I mean, also, I want to know if it's like a full-length feature film.
Yeah.
Okay. I just stepped into some information. He made this movie for less than $1 million.
Wow.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
And how much did the NFTs sell for?
It hasn't yet.
Okay,
they're taking bids.
How long of a film is it?
It's a full-length movie. It's an hour and a half.
Oh my God! Even documentaries cost over that.
Yeah, small crew, production budget of less than $1 million.
Jesus! Oh God! That means it's not even $1 million.
Yeah.
It was shot in 2018 in Florida, apparently. So this would have been right before he went on tour with Jay and Silent Bob, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask this, and I'm not trying to be an asshole or be pessimistic or anything like that.
You don't have to try.
Is Kevin Smith hurting? I mean, what the fuck?
Maybe he just wants to try something different and see if maybe a fan buys it.
I don't think he's hurting for money. He is in a lot of shit. He does a lot of stuff still, so.
Yeah, and he's doing appearances and hosting shows, and
he does fucking game shows now.
Show, right?
No, the comic book show is
on.
That one's over now. But their business still exists, and they still make a shit ton of money off of just merchandise, so.
Yeah, well, they moved the shop in Red Bank down the street, so it's no longer the same shop.
They moved it literally a block away.
Yeah. Which makes sense because that the secret stash, that place was a hole. The where they shot the comic book men that Stache is referring is the back register in the back end of the store. The front end is just this narrow freaking corridor of just nonsense.
And the store they moved to is a much bigger one, but I know he's not hurting for money. He has a lot of successful stuff.
I don't get this. This is just a strange ploy to me.
I mean, I don't care about this movie specifically, but
it does set a very interesting precedent.
Yeah, it does. And
what it tells me is that he doesn't
about it for like future documentaries. Actually, those lower budget movies that maybe they're searching for someone who can distribute them, and this is a good way to find potential publishers. So
I'm guessing he's not hurting for money because this thing could literally sell for like $10.
It could. It really could. That's what I'm like. The hell is going on? I don't
think he spent $1 million making it, but they could sell it for $1,000. And obviously, he'd just lose a shitload of money on that.
Yeah. Does he need a write-off that bad? If that's the case, Mr. Smith, would you like to sponsor our podcast? We love you greatly, and we'd love to have you on.
Sure.
We think you're fabulous.
I'm a fan of a lot of his movies, to be honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But there's some that are not good at all.
Yeah, Jersey Girl, right out. Not
there are some that we all quote regularly.
Dogma is legitimately one of my favorite movies from that time period. So
Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah. Yep. You know, obviously, Clerks was innovative for movies in general.
So,
hashtag
referring to interspecies erotica just all the time.
Hashtag Kevin Smith sponsors.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
What else we got, Bobby?
All right. Last thing on the agenda. Army of the Dead. The trailer dropped.
Ocean's 11 meets The Walking Dead. Holy shitballs, Captain. This is going to be, woo! I cannot wait for this fucking film.
It looks like it's going to be a beautiful mess.
Oh my God. And you got Batista. I love Batista. This man is just, he looks so flat, but he's just a charismatic ball of just chaos. And I love it.
Weirdly reminiscent of The Rock, to be honest. He's a meathead that understands he's a meathead and just does that. It's like, I'm going to be the big bully and just wreck shit.
John Cena could learn a lot from these two.
Probably, actually. Maybe, yeah, I'll give you that. He's like third in line of the...
Here you go.
He's not even third.
Start like a meathead acting academy.
Oh, I'm saying of the WWE superstars becoming actors.
John Cena seems like a real, genuine sweetheart in real life.
I think
he's a great guy.
I think he plays up his comedic, goofy side more than these guys do.
Yes, but the trailer is just so
bonkers,
so much fun. Oh my God! I just like
something.
I like Batista as a short order cook. It's just, the one guy you definitely don't want to fuck with who's in the kitchen. I'm waiting for him to just come out and just beat someone for sending back the food. I hope they do that. I just want to see that.
Short order cooks tend to be a little crazy to begin with. So
yes.
Do you think he'll decapitate someone with a spatula?
I hope so. God, I hope so.
Like with like the metal spatula and just be like.
I hope he deep fries a zombie. I hope all of this happens.
Well, and there was the film that he did with Jodie Foster where they're running like the halfway house for medical needs for gangsters.
Yeah.
And it was, his character was so simple, and he did like these poems and limericks and like tranquil moments, and just his delivery, and it's just, the man is just great. I just really a fan of this
really
guy.
Good comedic timing. I mean, just
He
look at
does. Yes.
Drax is a brilliant character. For as goofy as it comes across, he plays it so dry and so smart, and this probably what he's going to do the same thing. He knows how to be the lovable doof very well.
But he's got the cavalcade of stars that are showing up for this hootenanny.
Oh yeah,
it's just so inspiring. I can't wait for this film. I need this film.
I would agree.
And on Smurfs Tears,
oh my God,
we end the night.
And on that bombshell, just because Stache can't handle it, we say goodnight. We will be back next week to enlighten you, to fill you in with whatever fucking crazy ass nonsense that we can come up with. But in the meantime, run fast, slap hard, and always be kind.